Welcome everybody back. I am Frosted Fricks, and today I'm going to give you a bit of an unpopular opinion. And judging by how YouTube actually carries its stuff, I couldn't help but notice there's a lot of people on here that didn't like working at GameStop. And after listening to their stories, I'm like, yeah, I get it. But then there's some cases where it's like, I don't get it. My unpopular opinion is that I actually liked working at GameStop. Believe it or not, I found the challenge of the constant changing policies a form of entertainment for me, because I always had to change my pitch every time. So when some new policy come in, I'd have to study it, I'd have to think of something new to say, and that's how you get the sale. But a lot of people are telling me about these companies that, this company that makes you do shady tactics and everything. I've never had that experience. And it might be just a fortunate thing that I never actually had that experience where people told me to do a shady tactic, because you don't do that. That's not how you get the people to trust you, by doing shady tactics. You do what you're supposed to do. You do your job, and that's all you're ever asked to. Now, it's how you carry yourself. It's how you present the idea to an individual, which would make them choose whether or not they actually want to be a part of a pre-order or a part of the subscription or anything like that. In a lot of cases, a lot of people find themselves standing there and they're like, oh, yeah, you want to get this pre-order for this game? How about this subscription? Let's get that game protection plan on that awesome CD you got. And then after a while, the person's like, just give me the game. Just give me the game. I just want to go. Just give me the game. See, now, there's a difference. There's a difference between personable and pushy. And in a lot of cases, what employees don't seem to understand at GameStop is that they are thinking that they should be pushy. Just establish a repertoire with the individual that you're trying to sell something to. Actually connect with them on a personal level, and then maybe they just might, I don't know, open themselves to you and possibly think that maybe a pre-order for a game would be good. Because they understand that you're a salesperson. They understand that these are all numbers to you. But if you get on their good side, they're more likely to just do it. Only because, yeah, they know they're going to get the game regardless. I mean, the game comes in like any game. Like, let's take the average, two of the largest things. Your Madden and your Call of Duty. I guarantee you there's hundreds of copies in the back room at GameStop. I guarantee it, because I've seen the boxes. There's a ton of them. So, yeah, you probably don't need to get that pre-order. In some cases, they do give, like, little perks. Like, they'll give you, like, a little trinket or something. They used to give some maps every now and then. They used to give different skins or different advantages, different things. And, like, in the retrospective, like, if they give you something like that, honestly, does it really change the gameplay? No. Does it really do anything different? Not really. But it's just the thrill of actually owning it. Because at the end of the day, a lot of gamers are pretty much. Look at this. I'm a klepto. This is my game library. It's huge. It goes from the top shelf all the way to the down, and it's not all just in this room. See, the difference is there are these things called collectors. And regardless if it's going to be like a physical item or not, people still find it interesting that they're getting something just a little extra with that pre-order. Now, yes, I was a manager at a GameStop at one point in time. And I do have a story all about why I don't work at GameStop anymore, and that will come a little bit later. But I want to stick on the reason why I actually enjoyed working at GameStop. As I mentioned, it was the challenge. I loved coming up with new ideas. Of course, I looked at the job as you're hired as a salesperson. A lot of people look at that job like, hey, I'm just being hired as a retail guy. Why the heck should I push myself for this company? Well, there are perks to doing that. It's called getting a higher position. In a lot of cases, yeah, people don't care about that. They don't want that. In some cases, they're like, I don't want all that pressure on me. I don't need that life. And it's like, that's fine and all, but you can't sit there and complain that you don't like what's going on. I mean, this just might be my unpopular opinion. And though there are tons of stories about crazy people shopping at my store because I was located in one of the best places in all of Buffalo, trust me, there are tons of fun stories. The one thing I want to definitely touch base on is the fact that regardless of the craziness, regardless of the constant policy changes, I was still able to persevere. And that's mainly due to the fact that I actually cared about the job. And it might sound mean, and it might sound like I'm putting down other individuals who worked at GameStop at one point in time, and I'm not winning any brownie points by saying this, but I actually enjoyed working there. It's just, to me, it was relaxing. I didn't have a day where I woke up and went, oh man, I gotta go to work. And honestly, that never existed. Why? Because I enjoyed it. It sounds strange. It sounds like I was dropped on my head. It sounds like someone snuck up behind me and whispered this into my ear. But no, this is coming out of my own personal experiences. I really loved it because the relationships I had with the customers, everything about there that actually made me enjoy doing it. I loved unboxing a new game and looking at it, looking at the back covers and looking at the front covers and just getting a chance to see it before literally anybody else does and being able to hold it. There's a big difference from what I did and enjoyed and what other people did and loathed. I guess I could never understand it. And it might be because I was fortunate enough to get manager that actually cared about the job, and that's the thing. He cared, and he cared about his employees, and he was a great manager, and he was awesome. He was awesome. He was the coolest manager ever. And would I ever work for that man again if I got a chance? Absolutely. He was awesome. At the end of the day, it's just a matter of realizing when you're getting ready to work at GameStop, you are not just a retail clerk, you are a salesperson. Take the job, but with that understanding that everything you do is being looked at, just like any other job. If you're not doing the job they hired you for, of course they're going to have repercussions behind that. They hired you to be a salesperson. Despite the fact that it says retail, it is actually a sales position. I'm not going to discourage anyone from working at GameStop because the perks behind it are awesome. If you manage to move up the ladder in it, you're doing pretty good. However, with the currently the declining environment where people want to buy physical copies of things, that's starting to affect GameStop sales, and obviously seeing that they're turning into Toy Stop now too, because they got toys all over the store. I don't know what is with the GameStops lately. Half the store is toys. I mean, like, it's toys and trinkets and knickknacks and you name it. It's all over GameStop. And some of the stuff is pretty cool, but at the other hand, it's like, this doesn't reflect what GameStop was, what it always has been about, which is the games and the people. But now it's like, I got this Legend of Zelda mirror that I found at GameStop, and they're like, what about the game? Did you play the game? No, but it's a cool mirror, right? No, and it seems like it's straying and it's grasping at straws where it can be. See, I worked at GameStop when they used to do iPod trade-ins. I'm not sure if they still do that because I don't work there anymore, but I remember when I started seeing that, I started becoming worried because that, to me, seemed like a grasp for straws. Something trying to take in something like that in hopes that it was going to benefit them. Again, GameStop's not without its flaws. Some of their corporate decision-making is really bad. I want to give a good example. I want to touch base on this too. This year, instead of Black Friday, GameStop will be opening their doors at 3 p.m. Thanksgiving Day. That is beyond, and I'm going to use it, that's beyond fucked. I mean, come on. When I worked at GameStop, it was closed Thanksgiving. You'd be there at midnight, but it was closed Thanksgiving Day. That is so messed up to ask an individual to, like, there's no time for dinner at that point in time. You cannot sit down with your family. You cannot enjoy their time. You have to actually sit there all day, not get your meal, and have to go to work. And the only way in this particular case, because this is one of those corporate decisions that you're like, what the hell's wrong with you? There's people that actually have families, maybe. And the only way that they'll learn their lesson on this one is if no one shops at GameStop that day as a form of protest for the employees there. If GameStop sees a decline in sales, that will actually make them consider their employees, I guess, mental fortitude. As I said, this was one of those situations where it was like really messed up. I asked one of the employees there, they're like, yeah, It's awesome. I love coming in on the day, only day, I get to sit down with my entire family just to wait for people to come in, finish their food, and come in and ask for stuff. It makes my Thanksgiving that much better. And I get the saltiness. I get it. That's where, like, the line would be drawn for me. Like, I'm not going to give up my family time to work at a store that won't give me anything back, honestly, on this one, because you can't get that time back from your family. I guess that would be a negative side of GameStop, when they make stupid decisions like that. But when I worked at GameStop, that wasn't a situation. But there were things that weren't great, but there were things that were great. And you take the good and it kind of balances out the bad. It becomes a neutral work environment. I guess that's the best way to do it. But in a way, that was still a great place to work for. I have tons of stories involving GameStop that I would love to share with you guys. And I want to share with you guys. If this is something you're interested in, please tell me in the comment section below. I mean, I know this is an unpopular opinion, and I want to get further in depth, but I think I ran out of time here for this video, because it is a long video. But I want to go into further depth of, like, what I believe GameStop wanted from me, what I believe that I was doing correct at GameStop, that I think that a lot of people who do complain about the policies GameStop puts out don't understand. I also want to get into different details on what their trade-in rules are, and like just the general consensus of what people usually complain about but don't fully understand. And I see it a lot. A lot of people complain about certain things involving GameStop, but they don't fully understand it. And the ones that do, I mean, arguably, yeah, they could still not have a good side for GameStop. But when I worked there, I loved it. Nowadays, I don't know, because I don't know their current work environment. I haven't worked there in about 3-4 years. So tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I want to hear what your opinions are. I know I didn't really cover much of anything, just sort of me just giving cliff notes on why I think GameStop was pretty cool to work for when I worked for it. Again, I have tons of fun stories that I would love to share with you. One involving a man putting his hands in his pants. So give me a little jingle down there. If you guys liked the video, don't forget to drop a like. Also hit that subscribe button if you're new here, and ding that little bell icon, because I do a whole bunch of fun stuff on here. Some Reddit readings. This is something I wanted to try out. I don't want to make it like totally focused on this, but if this is something that you guys are interested in, because again, I have tons of stories. I worked there for quite a while, so just tell me in the comment section below. I'll be looking forward. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But so as usual, as always, my friends, stay frosty and keep moving forward. Gotta press the button over here now, because the recording thing's on this side of the thing, and my computer's this way. It's cool.